Hey there, it's Steve from Serious Keto, and over the past couple of weeks, I have been on a quest to make the best chicken wings I've ever had. In this video, I'm going to show you how I did it. There are not many foods that I will just keep eating and eating and eating until it's gone, but one of them is chicken wings. And I miss the good old days, back when chicken wings were sort of the scraps of the chicken, back when you could go to a happy hour at a bar and get wings for 10 cents a piece. That was before the dark times. That was before Buffalo Wild Wings. Even though the price of wings have gone up over the last several years, they're still relatively cheap compared to a lot of the other protein sources out there. Plus, they're pretty fantastic. The thing is, oftentimes places that serve wings kind of cover that all up with a bunch of sauce and stuff. I wanted to create a wing that was so good you don't even want sauce. I had three goals for these wings. First, wonderfully crispy skin. Second, a tender, juicy inside. And third, I want them to taste great without any sauce. The great thing is, one technique gets us almost all three of those things, and that is brining. Now, I did a video on brining chicken thighs a few weeks ago. I'll link to it up here and put it in the end card as well. Brining takes chicken and pork as well to a whole nother place in terms of retaining moisture, making things juicy. It's a little bit different than marinating because it is about getting that moisture into the meat. It can also be a little like marinating in that, depending on how you make your brine, you can also get some flavor into it. So we're going to accomplish both of those things. Plus, the salt content of the brine helps crisp up that skin. Now, we may do a couple experiments to see if we can get it even crispier after we get done with the brining. But first, let's start with the brine. I have a 3-quart saucepan to which I'm going to add 1 quart or 1 liter of water. The first ingredient in this brine is completely optional. Let's call it extra credit. You'll be glad you did it though. If you grind your own Parmesan cheese, save that rind. You can put it into broths, you can put it into soups, or in this case, you can put it into brine, and it really infuses it, especially with sort of an umami type of a flavor, a savoriness, but also, in this case, we are going to get some of that Parmesan flavor right into the meat. Again, this is purely extra credit. So I'll add my 2 chunks of Parmesan rind into the water and bring that to a boil for about 5 minutes or until the water starts to look cloudy. Then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons or approximately 30 grams of kosher salt, then 2 tablespoons of black peppercorns, which is roughly 20 grams. Next we'll add some lemon. 2 lemons if they're smaller, mine are kind of large, so I'm going to go with 1.5. Squeeze the juice into the brine and then drop in the rest. Then we have 1 head of garlic, which I will crush, yielding about 12 cloves, which I'll smash with the side of a knife, peel, and dump into the brine. Lastly, 2 to 3 bay leaves. We'll give this a stir and boil for 5 to 10 minutes. The smell on this is amazing. You literally can smell everything. The lemon, the garlic, the Parmesan, the peppercorns. We want this to cool to room temperature before we add our chicken wings. And if you're impatient like me, you can speed this up by dropping in some ice cubes. Don't worry about watering down the brine because it's plenty concentrated. Once it hits room temperature, which in Wisconsin is about 67 degrees Fahrenheit right now, we're ready to go. For my brining receptacle, I've got a Cambro container. I'm going to dump in some chicken wings, grab out 1 to use as my baseline, which will be unbrined. Dump in another pack. I have about 3 pounds of wings, but you can easily do 4 pounds or 2 kilos. You'll have plenty of brine to cover it up. We'll pop on a lid and refrigerate this for the next 4 hours or so. Over the course of the past week, I have tried a number of different coatings for these wings to see if I can optimize the crispiness. I tried without any sort of a coating, and that was good. I tried coating with extra virgin olive oil or avocado oil. That was very crispy. I tried it using baking powder, and I'll let Connor tell you what he thinks in terms of the difference between the oil-coated ones and the baking powder ones in just a moment. I tried coating with Evercrisp, breader and batter booster. Now this is wheat dextrin. It's really almost pure fiber. In a quarter cup, you're talking 19 grams of carbs, 17 of which are fiber. However, I wasn't in love with the type of crispness that this imparted. It was a lighter crispness. It really kind of reminded me almost of when you set a marshmallow on fire and then blow it out, that sort of crispness. So I'm gonna say no on this. I also tried whey protein isolate. This was also a decent crisp. However, it did cause the wings to stick to the inside of my air fryer. I would compare this crisp most to almost like a baked Lay's potato chip or a Pringle. So good, but not really what I was looking for. I also tried coating with Keto Chow, and I think that this could be an interesting future experiment once I get it dialed in. The question is, do you want to be adding $5 to $10 to the cost of your batch of wings to use Keto Chow? I don't know, so we're not going to go with that either. So let's bring in Connor and get his preference, oil versus baking powder. So I have here my taste tester and son, Connor. Now, your mom tasted both of these wings, and she's got a preference. I want to see what you think.
Have you tasted them?
Oh yeah. So I'll tell you what I think afterwards too. So we've got one that was done with baking powder, one that was done with avocado oil.
Both in the air fryer?
Both in the air fryer.
All right.
Which do you like to start with?
Start with the baking.
The baking powder?
Yes.
Okay. Sounds crispy.
It's fairly crispy. It's got a little powder kind of on the end. It's a little powdery.
Okay.
So
your mom compared it to like a country fried chicken or a chicken fried steak in terms of the exterior texture?
I'd say that's probably accurate.
I felt the same. Okay. So all three of us agree on that. Next we have the avocado oil. That also sounded crispy.
So I think I actually like the baking powder more.
So your mom liked the oil one the best. She just liked that crispy skin. Okay. She said it was very close though. I think I also leaned towards the oil. It's a close one.
I like the avocado oil one has a little more oil taste compared to the baking powder one, obviously, and I prefer the powder taste, like the powdery mouthfeel over the oily mouthfeel.
All right, well, there you go. So based on that, it's up to you which you prefer to use, whether you want to use oil or baking powder. Now I will say, for baking powder, be aware that most baking powders contain cornstarch. So if you're a strict keto, this is off the table for you. Now it does say 0 grams of carbs on the label. However, that's a serving size of 1/8 teaspoon. I found that to give a wing a proper coating of baking powder, it requires about 1/4 teaspoon per wing, which would be 0.3 grams of carbs. So the way that we're going to prepare our brined wings now, both for the sake of simplicity and for minimizing carbs, is going to be using oil. I also plan on doing this both in an air fryer and a convection oven to show you the difference between those two. My wings have been brining for a little over 4 hours, so I'm going to pop them out and onto a paper towel lined baking sheet. Then I'm going to pat these dry, brush them down with some olive oil on both sides. And then these are going to go off to the air fryer and convection oven. I'm going to split them evenly between the two. The air fryer I'm going to be cooking at 395 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 minutes, or about 200 degrees Celsius. For the convection oven, I'm cooking at 450 Fahrenheit, that would be 230 Celsius. And by the time it's preheated, I've been cooking my air fryer wings for about 10 minutes. And we'll pop our wings in here for 25 minutes. At the halfway mark, or 10 minutes, on the air fryer, we're going to flip over each of our wings. and let them cook for another 10 minutes. Ooh, they look and smell fantastic. Put these off on a plate, and then head over to our convection oven, which is now at about the halfway point as well. And we're going to flip each of these over, which is easier said than done while trying to film with my phone with the other hand. After 25 minutes, we'll pop these out and set them aside to let them cool for a couple minutes before the taste test. All right, let's take a look. First, we have our convection oven, air fryer brined, and air fryer unbrined. Now, I'm not sure how well this shows up on video, but there is definitely a difference in texture between these three. You can feel it. The air fryer one that was brined, definitely stiffer, crispier skin. Also fairly crispy on the unbrined. We're going to let these cool though for a second before we do a taste test. And now for the taste test. First with a convection oven. Not especially crispy, but wow, does it taste good. And it's just, the meat is so moist. It's just unreal how moist this is. Wow. Next up is the brined air fryer version. That crisp. That crisp is so good. And the flavor, goosebumps. Seriously, goosebumps. I almost feel like if I put sauce on this, it would be sacrilege. Finally, the air fryer unbrined. It's amazing how bland this tastes now. After eating those other two, the skin, not quite as crispy, even though these are both cooked at the same time in the same air fryer. Yeah, this unbrined wing, this is screaming for some sauce. Now, if you want some sauce, I got an idea for you.
Ooh, buffalo sauce.
That was Dennis over at Black Tie Kitchen, and I will link to his video for buffalo sauce at the end of this video. If you've never watched a video by Black Tie Kitchen, Dennis, he puts me to shame when it comes to his videography. He plans things out, he storyboards. Me, I just wing it. Now, in terms of what would I recommend, air fryer or convection oven, they each have advantages over one another. The air fryer preheats way faster, about, well, pretty close to 10 minutes faster, and it also takes about 5 minutes less to cook. Additionally, I felt that the wings that came out of the air fryer were crispier, and that was one of my goals with this particular recipe. The convection oven, the big advantage that that has is space. You can do a lot more wings at one time. If I wanted to do 2 trays, I probably could have gotten about 4 times the amount done in my convection oven as I did in the air fryer. Neither were bad, but ultimately I think I got to give the nod to the air fryer. As I stated in my previous brining video, I am absolutely sold on brining as a methodology, and I'm sure that you will be too after you try this out. These wings, I'm telling you, they're the best I've ever had. If you haven't tried brining, you gotta try it out. It works like magic, especially on wings. So give it a try, let me know what you think. If you like this video, please click that like button. If you're not a subscriber already, tap that subscribe button, then hit the bell to turn on all notifications. And lastly, if you'd like to help out the Serious Keto Test Kitchen, click that join button and see what memberships and perks are all about. Oh, and don't forget to watch those 2 videos over there, especially that one by Dennis. Good stuff right there. Thanks for watching.